Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Valente. Thank you for joining us on the Saturday Night Hockey Show's 2021 NHL Entry Draft special. And as the title says, we are talking about the 2021 NHL Entry Draft, but that is not the only thing that is going on today. We have seen a bevy of trades in the NHL today. Big names moving to different places, some big returns, some not so big returns in a couple cases, and we'll look at the trades as we go on. My Buffalo Sabres have the first round or first overall pick in the draft. It's expected to be a gentleman named Owen Power, who's a defenseman from Michigan, a Canadian born defenseman, 6'6". Really solidified his first overall pick status when he played in the World Championships this summer and played really well. By the end of the tournament, he was logging like 25 minutes a game for, yes, a depleted Canadian roster, but still, as a 18-year-old college freshman, very impressive. So, very happy to see him come to Buffalo. And I think what really solidifies the idea that Buffalo is going to trade them is that they did get involved in the trading today. As we see here, July 23rd, Philadelphia Flyers acquire defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for defenseman Robert Haig. The 2021 first round draft pick, which is the I believe officially listed as the 14th overall, but because Arizona forfeited their first round draft pick, is actually 13th overall in the draft. And Sabres also receive a 2023 second round pick. So a lot of value for Ristolainen, who, depending on if you got like a defenseman with size and a little bit of grit to their game, Ristolainen does, he checks those boxes. Was a first round pick for the Sabres about 7-8 years ago. Came in, drafted with Nikita Zadorov. Of course, Zadorov was moved on in the Ryan O'Reilly trade. But Ristolainen has been the mainstay in the back end for the Sabres the last, 7-8 years. And well, we see what the results have been. I mean, if you're an analytics guy, if you're one of these dudes that can spit out plus minus whatever these funky numbers, Corsi numbers, and all that stuff, look at Ristolainen and run completely the other way. But I get it. Part of it is the fact that he's played on the Buffalo Sabres for the last almost decade now, and that will destroy anybody's numbers. I believe that the Philadelphia Flyers think that they've got somebody, or they can fix what's wrong with his game and make him into what we thought we were getting when we drafted him back in the day. So Rasmus Ristolainen is off the Buffalo Sabres. He's been paroled for good behavior. Welcome to Buffalo, Robert Haig, and whoever the Sabres draft or use that asset to move on to acquire other players. Welcome to Buffalo. Hopefully, it's better than what it was yesterday. So, but if you are interested in joining me on the show tonight, drop me a line, Facebook Messenger. You can send me questions. If you're watching on Facebook on my personal page, it may not show the comments to me because Facebook's really funky about that. So I'm going to try and monitor my stream as well. Try and do that without getting a lot of feedback here. But anyway, let me. Yeah, that's off. Okay, let me go in here. That's to me because Facebook's really going to hear about that. So, there we go. Got it muted, so I can hopefully see comments as they come in. So yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from the draft starting. Of course, there's going to be a lot of perfunctory stuff. The Sabres probably pick about I want to say about 7:15 or I'm sorry 8:15. and of course, each team will have a number of minutes to either make the pick or make a trade. So there's also been several other trades to announce. Let me bring that screen up again. Uh, Big names. So Oliver Ekman-Larsson is moving on from the Arizona Coyotes. He is actually not only is there Ekman-Larsson going, but Connor Garland, who's a fairly serviceable young player as well. They're both going to Vancouver in exchange for Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, and Antoine Roussel, and that's a whole lot of. Eh. But they do get a first round pick out of the deal, which is nice for Arizona because they were punished for an infraction during the NHL Combine, and they forfeited their first overall pick, which this year should have been the first year that the NHL Entry Draft had 32 picks in the first round. Arizona's forfeiture of their first round pick meant we only have 31 in the first round. Arizona deals themselves back in, but that 11th overall pick gets forfeited. So anything that's after that 11th, that's listed after the 11th overall pick moves up one. So, but they actually move up higher in the draft order. They go to number 9, which is Vancouver's pick. They also get a couple of future picks, a second round pick in 20. Or I'm sorry, no, that's in 2022, and a 7th round pick in 2023. So tonight's draft is only going to have round one players picked. So it's a little, you'll see the teams say, well, in past years they would say thank you to the host city and how great it is and talk about their watch parties and and then make a big hoopla about it. It's going to be a little more perfunctory now because you've got the number one players, or I'm sorry, you got this all being remote. So this is nobody's in. I mean, outside of the Rangers, nobody's in New York City making the picks. Batman will be remote. The GMs will be remote in their war rooms. I've already seen a couple of them, but Buffalo's at the KeyBank Center. The Seattle Kraken's first draft, they're picking second. They are at the Space Needle, so they're on top of the Space Needle. Needle's really cool. So it'll be a chance to give a little local flavor to the cities, but I'm looking forward to them going back to hosting these drafts in local and in person. I thought it has a nice, cool feel to it. I think the NHL does it the best of the leagues. One, I don't like the NFL draft because uh, basically the commissioner makes almost all the picks. I mean, they do have a couple of special picks that a fan or someone else will make, but for the most part, it's the commissioner up there. Hogging the limelight. In the NHL, the commissioner says that the team's ready to pick. They come up and the team makes the selection. It's a nice chance for the player to come up, get the sweater put on, and parade for all the fans in attendance and all that stuff. So anyway, other trades that have happened today, and this is a funny thing, and when Tom Mann comes on, we'll talk about this because we both hate the Rangers, but. St. Louis Blues acquired Pavel Buchnevich from the New York Rangers in exchange for forward Sammy Blais and a second round pick in the next year's draft. And Ranger fans have been not happy today. It started out today where a lot of Ranger fans were thinking that they were going to acquire Jack Eichel and take that next step onto that rebuild and try and get back to a championship caliber team. And they got Sammy Blais for a really decent, kind of second pairing, third pairing forward, Pavel Buchnevich, who has decent scoring touch. For Sammy Blais is got a little grit to his game. That's about it. A lot of the Ranger fans commenting have been talking about the how they Tom Wilson is continuing to beat up the Rangers, even though he's hasn't been playing for a couple months. So, um, huh. For some reason, Tom can't get in. Let me send him a message right quick. Yeah, it might be on. He's on Firefox. Firefox is kind of a pain in the ass with our platform. Anyway, so yeah, Pavel Vucinovic moves on to the New York or moves on to the St. Louis Blues in exchange for Sammy Blais in a second. And then let's see what other picks we've had. Yesterday we had Tyler Pitlick, who spent all of about 12 hours in Seattle. Has been moved on to the Calgary Flames for a pick. And I don't know if that was maybe a side deal that had happened. I have no idea. Okay. Um, and let's see here. We've got yesterday, Shane Gostisbehere got dealt from the Philadelphia Flyers for a second round pick and a seventh round pick. Were sent to the Flyers in exchange for future considerations. I wonder what those are. It is a curious trade in light of the Ristolainen acquisition later. That happened today. I can't really explain why that happened. But anyway, so those are the trades that have gone on. We do see that. Oh yeah, Vegas. Oh, that's a few days ago. So yeah, those are the trades that have happened. Released. Oh, I'm sorry. Yesterday, Alexander Nedeljkovic went from Carolina to the Detroit Red Wings, which was a very curious trade. In exchange, the Red Wings sent Jonathan Bernier, another goaltender, and a third round pick. So in essence, Bernier's not great. So in essence, it's basically trading Nedeljkovic for a third round pick. And the way Nedeljkovic played down the stretch, can't believe it. That's just awful trading. So, but anyway, we're starting the broadcast. This is the second thing that's gone on for ESPN, and oh yeah, I'm on the wrong screen here. There we go. There I am. All right. So yeah, we're starting the broadcast. They're going through some highlights of some of the junior players, showing how awesome they are. It's amazing the level of skill that young players have nowadays. Just doing things that even seasoned pros now can't do. So, but yeah, it's let's go ahead and take a look at the draft order that we have for the first round. As we talked, the Buffalo Sabres do have the first overall pick. They are followed by the Seattle Kraken. Third pick is the Anaheim Ducks, not the Mighty Ducks, as ESPN said the other night. They haven't been the Mighty Ducks since the last time ESPN covered the NHL. New Jersey has the fourth overall pick. Columbus is in at 5. Detroit is in at 6. San Jose at 7. The Los Angeles Kings at 8. Vancouver had the ninth overall pick, but that has been dealt. That's another big trade that we do need to talk. Hasn't been officially confirmed, but Seth Jones has moved uh, from Columbus to Chicago, and we'll talk about that trade in a minute. But Vancouver's trade is now with Arizona. Ottawa's at 10, at 11, Chicago at 12, Calgary at 13. It is was the Philadelphia Flyers pick, but now it's Buffalo's. 14 is the Dallas Stars, and 15 are the New York Rangers. So we'll see what transpires there. The Seth Jones trade, I haven't heard all the specifics about it, but I was surprised at what they did not get. The last I had heard was that it was Seth Jones, and in return they were getting Adam Boquist from Chicago and the Chicago's number 11 pick, and I think Chicago has the 32nd overall pick. Almost seems like Ristolainen, comparably speaking, based on the type of defenseman that they are, that Ristolainen had a better haul than Seth Jones. I'll try and look for confirmation on that trade, but that was kind of a surprising trade, especially since the Ristolainen trade had already been announced. So Columbus did know what was going on. What does the Magic Twitter box say? All right, so this is what I'm seeing now. Seth Jones acquired. Wow, this is crazy. Okay, so Seth Jones plus the 2021 first round pick, number 32, which that's right, it was. That was Tampa's, of course, Tampa's pick, and Tampa's pick was in exchange for the David Savard trade. So, yeah, that goes to the Blackhawks in exchange, and a sixth rounder in 2022. The Blackhawks sent Boquist, the number 12 pick, and second round picks 44 in the 22 draft. Oh, sorry, the second round pick in this draft, and then a first round. God, this is a trade and a half. Okay, so let's back up. Let's do this. All right, so what Chicago acquires is Seth Jones, the 2021 first round pick, which is number 32, that was originally Tampa's pick, and then a sixth round pick next year. For Adam Boquist, then a first round pick, which is the number 12 pick this year. Then they get the second round pick, a second round pick this year, which is number 44, which we drafted tomorrow. And then 2022 first round pick that is conditional. And it is conditional that if the 22 pick is inside the top two picks, it's convoluted as all get out. If it's inside the top two picks, then that pick moves on to 2023. So it's top two protected first round pick. So that's where we're at. They're talking to John Davidson on ESPN now about the trade. But yeah, that's the biggest name to really move at this draft. The only one bigger that could go right now would be Jack Eichel, and I don't know if he's going to go or not. Buffalo doesn't have to trade Jack Eichel, and as great as that return for Rasmus Ristolainen was, it might put a little bit more pressure on Kevin Adams to hit an even bigger home run with Jack Eichel because, let's say Jack Eichel brings in a couple first round picks, well, you got a first round and a second round for Rasmus Ristolainen and a player. I mean, it kind of sets it up for a much higher bar. And Kevin Adams, to his credit, is asking for the moon for Jack Eichel, which is, he's got to. You can't do Ryan O'Reilly part 2. You just can't trade from a position, with a great player and then trade from a position of weakness and get very little out of it. We just got to hope that Tage Thompson and Ryan Johnson hit, but they'd have to hit and bring us a Stanley Cup. Anyway, so we're getting close to the official kickoff, and that's when the Buffalo Sabres will be on the clock. Let's see. We did go through 15, which was the New York Rangers pick. After that, thankfully they've got the picks updated on NHL.com. After now they have not taken Arizona's original pick out of there. It's still listed on the NHL website, but after the Rangers pick at 15, then it's the Blues, the Winnipeg Jets, the Nashville Predators, the Edmonton Oilers, Boston Bruins, Minnesota Wild, Detroit Red Wings, Florida Panthers, Columbus Blue Jackets, Minnesota Wild, Carolina Hurricanes, Colorado Avalanche, the New Jersey Devils, Vegas Golden Knights, Montreal Canadiens, and now it's the Chicago Blackhawks with that quote-unquote 32nd pick, which is technically the 31st one. So that will wrap up the coverage tonight for the picks. But there's still plenty of room for more trades to be made, including Buffalo. You've got two first-round picks in this draft. The thing with this draft that makes it a lot harder is that for a lot of players, or for a lot of teams, they haven't been able to watch these guys over the last year. The Ontario Hockey League didn't play. The Western Hockey League did play an abbreviated season. Collegiately, we didn't have a whole lot of teams playing, or they played a moderated schedule. There's some play in European leagues. In fact, they did waive some stuff that some of the prospects that have been drafted could play in the AHL because there's a rule that says a player that's under the age of 20 cannot play in the NHL or in the AHL. They have to play with the junior team. Oh, and there he is, Mr. Mann. How you doing?
Mr. Valenti, good to see you again. Been a long time.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you for bringing me in here. Hold on. Sorry about me delayed getting in.
Oh, no worries.
I had to go into Chrome. Of course, I don't have Chrome. That involved downloading it and lots of passwords that I couldn't freaking remember.
Oh, it's all good, man. All right. So what's your thoughts on the Seth Jones trade that we had?
I don't, we kind of chatted about it earlier, and at that point, there was not much in the way of what Columbus was getting in return. I'm
not impressed.
They got Boquist and a pick?
They got Boquist,
which is nothing.
They got the 9th overall pick, which is the 11th overall pick.
11th overall pick. So I mean, they got a first round pick. Boquist was just kind of a throw in.
And then they got a conditional pick next year. So that if it's top two, if it's top 2, then it moves to 23, and if it's beyond top 2, then it's the Columbus pick.
I mean, good for Jones, good for the Hawks. I don't see that Columbus got much out of it. I mean, a first round pick. I mean, it's not a strong draft,
Yeah, you don't know anything beyond the really
exactly. And Chicago made out good. I mean, in effect, at this point, they've replaced Keith with Jones, which is for a number 1 pick. I think that's
significant upgrade.
That's a win. It's a big win for them.
Although, they still have, they're still under Kane and Taves contract, and they did sign Seth Jones to a 7-year,
Yeah.
$9.5 million contract.
Massive contract. Yeah, that's going to put a little. Put a little pressure on the UFA signings coming up, and that concerns me because my Islanders have to get Pelech signed.
Yeah.
So
and not only that, but eventually, Chicago's going to have to pay guys like Kirby Doc and Alex DeBrincat.
Yeah.
Or move them on, or find a way to get out from under Jonathan Taves' contract, which I think is possibly doable if he's not able to play again.
Yeah, this is going to be this year, upcoming year, first 2-3 months is going to be real telltale on, what's the story with Jonathan Taves.
Yeah, because he's saying that he had the long COVID, and I guess he got it right before the season, or right as the season ended, before the pause, and just was never right. And we'll see if he comes back. But I think there might be some pressure from the organization on, hey, if you hang him up, we'll bring you on as a coach or something along those lines.
Yeah. Long and the short of it is he could be done.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
At least at that point they can put him on LTIR. You've been mentioning and talking about a lot today. You think that your Sabres got the best deal of the day, and I won't deny it, they got a good deal. But I think the deal of the day thus far, of course, there's lots to come, is Vancouver and Arizona.
That was an interesting one.
Interesting. After what's been going on the past week with Arizona, I live right next door to them.
Yeah.
I follow them. I follow all the teams very closely, but I follow them. I thought they were making real solid progress. Tailed off a little bit this past year, but nevertheless, I thought they had a really good nucleus, and with good things to come. And it's like they're throwing up a white flag before the first puck even drops this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, their previous GM Chaika kind of left him in a bind, and he was kind of behind that. The reason why they didn't have a first round pick this year, doing the combine violation and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Ekman Larson wanted out, and because he had a no trade clause, he really got to dictate where he went. So he said, either Boston or Vancouver. I was surprised they picked Vancouver, but
yeah, in their own division. Yeah.
Well, no, I think Arizona's moving to the Central now.
Are they?
With Seattle coming into the.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, one of the teams had to move. I'm not sure why it wasn't Colorado, but
for me, the
plum
the plum in that trade was Connor Garland.
Oh yeah,
that guy's a stud.
Like I had no idea why. There was no reason for them to trade Connor Garland, not for what they got back.
No.
Roussel and Jay Beagle and
marginals.
Louis Erickson,
they're all fourth liners.
Yeah. There's not much there. And Louis Erickson, he scores when he's on a good team. If he's not on a good team, then he's spare parts.
He scores important goals once in a while.
Yeah,
but he's not putting that. He's not putting that many important.
Exactly. He's a playoff performer. He's never in the playoffs, but
Right. No, that's, but it's I've been just addicted. Well, since COVID started and whatever, and I always, of course, had the NHL packages and would watch my Islanders. But since COVID, now I watch all the games, all the teams. Playing FanDuel, making money at it. So you got to watch all the games, and you learn a lot watching all the games. It's been fun.
Yeah, my wife would kill me if I started playing FanDuel.
Huh?
My wife would kill me if I started playing FanDuel.
Oh, FanDuel bingo!
Every time she sees a commercial, like, you better not be playing that stuff.
Oh, I just tell mine I'm playing bingo hockey. Don't worry about it. I'm in little, $1 and $2 and $5 pools, and
there you go. That's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Arizona trade was interesting. The other trade that they were, basically they got Gossesbear for used strap. Like it's a future considerations deal. I wonder what the considerations are.
Yeah, but that the story of that trade is Philadelphia. Ooh,
What is up with Philadelphia? Like,
ooh,
you
yeah.
overpay for Ristolainen. And I like Ristolainen, but that was a massive overpayment.
Yeah, yeah.
But you dealt Shane
Yeah.
Gostisbehere. Now I know Gostisbehere has been their whipping boy there, but still,
I liked him. I thought he was a good, second line, third or second pair, third pair D man. I mean,
yeah,
I thought Philadelphia had a pretty good defensive core, and they're just tearing them up. Okay, they got Ellis, good pickup,
yeah.
but I think I mentioned it to you today. This thing with Ruotsalainen. Now, is Ruotsalainen, is he an RFIA or a UFA?
He will be a UFA.
He is a UFA
I
right
think he's
now.
got a couple more. No, he's got a couple more seasons left on his
No,
contract.
well, it's a maximum of one, but I mentioned it to somebody. He's at least an RFA right now, and then somebody, and I didn't research it hard enough, said because he's 27, he's actually a UFA now.
Yeah, he's. Well, it's not that he's 27. He's still. It's the fact that he started playing when he was 18. He came right in and played for the
Yeah,
Sabres.
he's got another year on his contract, which would
Yeah.
make him, an RFA right now. But somebody could come in and swoop him up on RFA UFA day, and then Philadelphia's out. They traded 2 defensemen, and they basically got nothing.
Yeah, he's got.
Today.
Let's see. Ristolainen's contract runs through next year. So yeah, next year is his last year. It's $5.4 million cap hit. It's not that bad. But yeah, he's been in the league.
I'm sorry, how much?
$5.4 million.
Well, okay, but he's gonna want more.
Yeah,
and Philadelphia is not in a good cap situation.
Oh no. Well, nobody's.
I read something today earlier, but I think it was dated. But they were like minus 13 million on the cap. But then I saw something else today where they got it down to like 10 or 11. But still, that's not a lot. That's not a lot.
No, and no team is really outside of Seattle and New Jersey. New Jersey.
I'm pretty sure Seattle still got $80 million left after.
That was the worst entry draft. Like a
lot of D-men. That's why I'm anticipating fast and furious trading. They got 12, 13 D-men.
Yeah,
and pretty good ones.
Yeah, that's definitely their strength is their D now. I'm not sold on Dreger as a number one goaltender.
I like him.
He did well, but he had a good team in front of him.
What?
He had a good team in front of him. And
defensively,
well, until Aaron Ekblad got injured, he had a pretty decent team in front of him.
Yeah, Ekblad is good. I thought you said Ekblad, and Yandel immediately popped in my head. No, Ekblad's solid. Yeah. There's a bunch of Islander fans wanting the Islanders to go after Yandel, and I'm like, stop. I
mean, at least he's he'll show up for every game, but no. They do have a lot of D. Maybe they do make the. It looks like they're about to make the pick.
Is this yours?
Yeah, this is Buffalo. Yeah, well, they got 3 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock.
It shouldn't take that long. I'm sure they know who. It's not like
like if you're not trading it, just go ahead and make the damn pick. But
right,
helps ESPN sell ad space.
Yeah.
Lets them talk and talk and talk. Oh well, but Dreger became expendable because Spencer Knight came in and he's the future there. And how dumb is Florida going to feel for the next 6 seasons paying Bobrovsky $10 million a season?
The boob.
Yeah.
Oh God.
How much salary cap are you wasting on
Yeah.
your goaltenders? But I mean, because that's going to carry him past the point where they're going to have to start paying Spencer Knight as a number one.
No,
Because he will be by that point.
there's going to have to be a buyout at some point.
Yeah, but buyouts, I mean, you know,
I know.
it does save them, but it, you know, it basically takes their, you know, half the contract over twice the period.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Kevin Adams making the pick. And Owen Power is the pick. All right.
Who'd they get?
They picked Owen Power.
Owen Power.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, when it at the beginning of the summer, I would have been more apt to wanting them to pick Matthew Bernier or Beniers.
Bernier.
He, you know, better offensive talent, and they were kind of neck and neck. But then Owen Powers went to the World Championship and just played lights out. By the end of the championship, he was playing like 25 minutes a game. And this is the when they first started that tournament, Canada dropped like the first 2 or 3 games, and they started playing him more, and Canada started picking up play and eventually won the World Championship. So,
I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Who does Buffalo want for Eichel from the Rangers?
I mean, honestly, if you're telling me it's got to go to the Rangers,
they're going to make it. They got to take a run at him after the.
They do, and I'm asking a king's ransom. You know, you're going to give me Kako and Lafreniere. No, I don't want Panarin. Panarin will only play in a big city, so
I'm teasing.
I would say Kako Lafreniere.
Yeah, not bad.
I mean, if that's what you're telling me, at least you got 2 guys that Kako's got 2 years under his belt. Lafreniere's got a year under his belt.
Why don't you ask for Adam Fox?
Yeah,
I say that because he's the only D-man they got.
Oh my God! Well, I think that was just an abomination that he won the Norris Trophy.
Do you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hate the Rangers.
He had a great year, but
he had a good year.
Coming out of nowhere, that's the thing. Like usually the Norris is one of those where a guy has to spend a couple of years being one of the final 3 finalists before they finally win it. I had both what's his face from Lightning, Edmund and Cale Makar ahead of him on that pick. I mean, I know he had a great offensive season. I just think that the Norris, more than any of the other trophies, is kind of like a body of work trophy because it's.
Well, you got the New York media factor involved in that.
Exactly. This was an East Coast bias type deal. So, Seattle Kraken are on the clock. They got 2 minutes. They're going to be likely picking Matthew Beniers.
Yeah, see, you're going to have to help me on all these draft picks because I haven't paid any attention to the kids this year. I've just been engrossed with all the drama of everything else.
So the unique thing about this team is that these 2 picks, so they're teammates at the University of Michigan. Okay. It'll be the first time teammates went 1-2 in like 50 years. Do I think he plays this year? I don't think so. I think both he and Power are coming back to Michigan for a year.
Are either of these guys ready to step into an NHL lineup?
I think Power is. Yeah. I do think that Power would be.
You hope.
No, I mean, if he goes back to Michigan, I'm not mad about that. I'm okay with him getting another year in college hockey and beefing up on someone else's dime, basically, and then coming in and playing for the Sabres, next season, or maybe even getting a little bit of time in the A at the end of the year as professional tryout. But Beniers, I think will, I think he could play this year. Again, for both of these guys, I don't know that I would want Owen Power getting, a big minus slapped on his resume first year,
Right.
and I wouldn't want, Beniers trying to, go from being a college freshman, not playing a ton of games, and then going right into the NHL, playing on an expansion team where they're, at least as constructed right now, are going to struggle. So right now we've got Anaheim on the clock. Did you catch the during the expansion draft, the Chris Fowler called them the Mighty Ducks?
Mighty Ducks. Yeah, I know. Are you? I mean, are you listening to this broadcast as you watch it, or?
No, I've got it on. It's very low.
Okay. Because I'm just wondering if this is anywhere near as disastrous as I know.
This is pretty standard. I mean, at least the look of it is very standard.
Right.
I like the guys they got on there. The former Rangers GM Jeff Gorton is one of their analysts. It's Kevin Weeks. Jeff Gorton.
Weeks is good. Weeks should have just run that show the other night.
Yeah. Sam Cosentino and John Buccigrass. So I mean, it's decent.
Yeah.
Better than bringing in the college game day guy.
The Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not good coverage. Kind of an auspicious start for ESPN. I thought, well, it figures because the last time the ESPN even cared about NHL hockey, it was the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. So, because they haven't been called that since the lockout. When they came back from the lockout, they went to just Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, other story of the day or the week that's bugging the hell out of me that I haven't seen much uproar out of.
What's that?
What's the deal with Yanni Gourde going in for surgery the day after the expansion draft, and he's going to be out for the first 3 months for the Seattle Kraken?
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, look it up. Google it.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm like, well, where was the, because remember with Carey Price and the Montreal GM, playing the games there. I mean,
if they take Price would have been ready for the season. Price is going to be ready for the season.
I mean, well, it was all bullshit,
Yeah.
From
so they're just scaring them away from going.
But Yanni Gourde now all of a sudden is, did Seattle know this?
I don't know.
Because it seemed like nobody knew it. You never saw any reports about it or anything.
Would Tampa have been forced to disclose it?
Huh?
I wonder if Tampa would have been forced to disclose it.
Forced? It's courtesy.
Yeah.
And don't pick him. They might have been able to keep him. I mean, this thing came up overnight. I'm just going to pull them up here. And I'm thinking, with the whole nonsense about the salary cap and $18 million over the play and everybody, yeah, all right, I get it. But, they're playing, they're just gaming the system.
Yeah.
But this, to me, I mean, that's offering a bad bill of goods on the list. And I mean, because Braden Point was on the pick list. They could have had Braden. If I was Seattle, and I just found out about it, I'd be like, okay,
Braden Point
we want a do-over.
Yeah, well, I think it would have picked Braden Point over Yanni Gourde.
Hold on. Well, go ahead. I know you're not going anywhere, so I'm just going to pull it up.
That's crazy. I can't believe. I mean, I don't think they. I guess they're probably not forced to do it, but
Okay, 1 day ago, yesterday, headline: Kraken's Yanni Gourde has shoulder surgery, will miss the start of the season. Biggest name selected, missed beginning of the season. Ron Francis announced yesterday. And no further, I mean, it's just 2-3 paragraphs just announcing the injury. I'm like,
that is
well,
crazy.
hey, Ron Francis, did you know about this?
Well, I mean, he did seem to like take the third best player from every team, and in some cases, just I may have thrown a dart.
And why? There's nothing being said about this anywhere. The day after, and I mean, you follow a lot of hockey. I follow a lot of hockey. There was no talk about Yanni Gourde being hurt prior to the draft. And now there's just a couple of blurbs afterwards, the day after. Something doesn't smell right there, Dave.
No, not at all.
Shenanigans of some sort. If I'm Ron Francis, I'm screaming bloody murder.
That is crazy. Yeah, all I'm seeing is just that the report.
Let's get on that.
Yeah.
Let's do some research and get back on your next show and talk about it. Get a call in.
All right. So
who's up on the meter?
Still Anaheim. Their pick is in. They were on commercial break.
No trade announcements or anything, as we go along here, huh?
Not yet.
Nobody's trading down, trading up for their picks. It's
not yet. You'll probably see some more movement as we get later.
I thought yesterday there'd be a lot of movement with Seattle trading some of their D-men.
I don't know. I think they're going to wait until
UFA day.
That, and I think they're gonna try and see who gets really desperate, maybe leading up to UFA day to give them some cap space to go after some UFA.
Well, I see a D-man on their roster that I want the Islanders to take a run at to replace Letty. It's that Vince Dunn from St. Louis, or from Seattle now. But
all right,
who knows? I'm not Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah, the Dark Lord. Who did they pick? Mason McTavish. They call him a North American. I'm not sure if he's like Craig McTavish's son.
McTavish,
like former Ranger Craig McTavish.
Yeah.
His 6'1" center.
Ranger and Oiler.
Yeah, 6'1" center. He actually plays in Europe. They haven't listed as a North American player. He may have been playing in Europe because I know a lot of North American players did go over during the COVID season. So, we got. He did play in the OHL before that. So he was with Peterborough here before, but he currently plays for some team in Olten in Switzerland. So he's a 6'1" center, second-ranked North American skater, according to the Central Scouting. So, not a surprise. Looks like Jersey is the next pick, and they're probably going to pick Jack Hughes' brother. Hughes going.
Jersey's got a couple of picks in the first round, don't they?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think they got. I'm pretty sure they got the Islanders pick.
Yeah, they got the Islanders pick for the for that trade with
Palmieri.
Yeah. Which would be like
that's
great. Yeah, 29th overall.
Yeah, switch gear. That's going to be that whole Palmieri situation with the Islanders is going to be interesting. Whether Palmieri takes a little bit of a haircut on his contract.
Speaking of haircuts, Taylor Hall took a haircut to stay in Boston.
Yeah.
Well, he cost himself a few million.
You know, I don't think that guy's that good.
Oh, I don't think he's that good either. I mean, hell, I watched him.
I was kind of glad. I was kind of glad when he went to Boston.
I was just glad that Boston lost.
You're welcome.
Well, it's just that I couldn't take seeing another player leave Buffalo and then go right and win a Stanley Cup
and win right away.
Yeah, because it happened with of course, it happened with O'Reilly. Then we traded Zach Bogosian. Actually, no, we released Zach Bogosian outright, and he signs with Tampa and goes and wins the Cup. This year it was nice that nobody on Tampa played for Buffalo recently. So,
hey, so tell me what's happening? What's gonna happen? What to a guy who's very near and dear to my heart? I loved him when the Islanders picked him number 1. Kyle Okposo. That poor guy.
Yeah, I mean he's never been the same since he had that.
Injury.
I mean, no, he almost died in Buffalo. I thought got a brain infection.
Right.
He had a pretty decent first season in Buffalo, and then after that concussion, and went into the neuropathic ICU.
Right.
He just hasn't been the same for Buffalo. But he's going to be their veteran presence on a very young lineup now. If you figure that Jack Eichel's done or that Sam Reinhart's done in Buffalo, then you've got to have some forward depth that's not Cody Eakin.
I got to move in here today right now because
you're raining there.
Yeah, we got a monsoon blowing in.
Yeah,
it's that time of year in the 505.
Oh yeah,
but Okposo, the games I watched with Buffalo this year, I just watching them, it just was kind of sad.
Last year before the COVID pause, he was on a line. It wasn't the fourth line, but he was on a line with Johan Larsson, who ended up going out to Arizona, and Zemgus Girgensons. And they were, I would say, probably the second best line on Buffalo the year before last, which is not saying a whole lot, but they scored some really timely goals. I think losing both Larson and Girgensons, because Girgensons had the Achilles injury right at the beginning of camp. He just never meshed with any of the fourth liners that they brought in. Guys like Eakin, and of course they traded. God, what's his name? The guy. He was the guy that went to Boston with Taylor Hall, which was actually the guy I was mad that they traded was.
Yeah, I know who you mean. I can't think of him.
Yeah, but it looks like. Wait a minute. New Jersey's making their pick.
Okay, I got to run out and get my phone. I left it out there. Be right back.
All right. So Luke Hughes is the pick. So we got Luke Hughes and Jack Hughes on the team, brothers. Now Jersey's going to be making all the moves to try and get Jack, or I'm sorry, not Jack, but Quinn Hughes over. And I think there's one more brother that's coming down the pike for the Hughes family. But what a remarkable run for this family. They've had three sons 3 consecutive drafts go in the top 5. All right, so Luke Hughes went to New Jersey, defenseman. All those members of the Hughes family, Luke,
Right.
Jack, and Quinn, all 3 are top 5 picks. And I think there's another brother on the way either next year or the year after. But that's 3 consecutive drafts.
The older one on Jersey, I like. That's Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
Yeah, I think so. I know that they kind of stressed that he wasn't, contributing as quickly as they thought he should. But I think he progressed really well. He's got a ton of skill on the puck. I mean, he's going to be really good. The question is the other top pick, Nico Hischier. Is he ever going to pan out to what they thought?
Injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of injuries. When he's good, he's good.
But yeah, I'm waiting for all the rumors of New Jersey trying to get Quinn Hughes over to complete the family hat trick.
Yeah. Be like another team I'm familiar with 3 brothers on the team at once. The Sutter brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Sutters pretty much stocked half the NHL at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next pick we've got Columbus.
I'm watching it now. That's Columbus, right?
Yeah. So Columbus is coming up.
Bigger screen.
Followed by Detroit, San Jose, and LA.
Detroit scored a nice goalie, Nedeljkovic or whatever.
Nedeljkovic, yeah. I mean, for a song. I mean, they traded Jonathan Bernier, but Carolina already had. I mean, that was the thing. They had 3 goaltenders. I would have moved either Mrazek or
Bernier.
Not Bernier, Reimer.
Reimer, right?
Before I would have moved Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic, yeah.
He had a killer season, especially because Mrazek got injured early. Like 9 games into the season was, Nedeljkovic was what kept that team afloat for most of the season. And
I was so begging for Carolina to take out Tampa in the playoffs. I thought if any team did, they were the ones. And that just didn't work out at all. Carolina laid an egg with them. I thought for sure they would at least give them a good run. Nope.
No, they Carolina had a great season, except for they had certain players would just kind of take time off. Like Svechnikov did not have a great season.
Niederreiter.
Yeah, the key contributors, and it just kind of all hit in the same series. Now,
Niederreiter's an old Islander #1 pick that just
has
just nothing. I mean, Minnesota, nothing. That's who they got. The Islanders traded Niederreiter for Clutterbuck, which at the time everybody thought, "Are you kidding me? A #1 pick for Cal Clutterbuck and
for a grinder?" Yeah, I mean,
right.
I mean, they definitely won that trade.
Mm-hmm. Pick is in for Carolina.
Columbus, yeah.
Columbus.
All right, number 5 pick.
Old John Davidson. Yeah, the Islanders kick your ass, John. They kicked your ass back in the day.
Well, they got a packed house.
Yeah, I was going to say where are they doing this? They got a good crowd there.
Pick the damn pick.
Oh, a Buckeye.
Oh,
Hey, how are you, man? I wish I could be there. I know how the fifth line can get fired up, and some great memories.
Pick
there.
the damn pick,
Get
man.
back as
Come
often
on.
as I can, and looking to get back even more this year coming up. But I know it's great to have you back, part of the organization, helping us rebuild, and look forward to trying to.
They should
get back.
forfeit their pick for this.
Exciting time. This young man's name
Like exceeded the time.
play for the most passionate
Right?
and loyal fan base, I think, in the NHL. So with the fifth pick in the 2021 NHL Draft, the Columbus Blue Jackets select center Kent Johnson.
All right. Kent Johnson played for Michigan. So this is the third out of
Whoa, wait a minute. This is Columbus, home of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Picked somebody from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to get booed every time he steps foot on the ice in Columbus. I mean,
Yeah.
God.
So Canadian-born center from Port Moody, British Columbia, played 3 seasons in the British Columbia Hockey League. Decent scoring touch at
My.
I'm sorry, 101 points in 52 games in the BCHL.
6'2" and 175 pounds. He's thin as a rail.
Yeah, that's he's actually grown a little bit since the last Central Scouting rankings. They had him at 6'1", 167.
So what is that, like 3 Michigan guys in the top 10?
Yeah, top 5.
Wow. Top 5. Did they win the Frozen Pond this year?
No, they got eliminated. They didn't even make. I don't think they even made the Frozen Four.
Really?
Yeah,
With 3
the
top
free.
5 picks.
Yeah, three top flight freshmen. Yeah, he had 27 points, 9 goals, 18 assists in 26 games with Michigan. So it'll be interesting. To see a Michigan player being their first overall pick, and
to pick them ahead of Detroit.
yeah.
Come on.
I think they've got pretty much all the Michigan players now.
So does Detroit return the favor and pick some loser from Ohio State?
I don't know if there's a Ohio State player
yeah, probably
ranked high enough. We might see somebody like Dylan Gunther taken here. This is where the draft gets a little fuzzier. There's still some good players coming up. Dylan Gunther, Matthew Coronado. There's European skaters. I bet you it's probably going to be William Eklund going to Detroit.
Well, see here, what are we at? Pick 6 now coming up?
Yeah.
Here's what kind of, to me, I'll pay some attention to drafts every year, especially when Islanders are involved. But this is the point in time you usually see a lot of jockeying for position and trading up and trading down, and we're seeing none of that this year. I mean, and I think it speaks to the quality or lack thereof of this year's.
Well, I think it's more the unknown factor. Like, are you going to deal some assets to pick a guy that you may have seen in about 20 games this season? That's pretty much what most of the junior leagues got in. If they were able to play, it was about 20 to 40 games.
Yeah, they don't have enough to go by.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been.
And there probably wasn't any kind of draft combine or anything where they went to, do their workouts.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
No.
But yeah, some of the top European skaters. There's a William Eklund who plays for Djurgården in Sweden. Simon Edvinsson, also Swedish. He's a defenseman out of Frölunda. And Atu Ratu from Karpat, Finland. So those are the top 3 European skaters. you'll probably see one or two of them picked in the next few picks.
Was there anything more fun the other night watching the Seattle draft than watching all the football players trying to pronounce the European names?
Especially Marshawn Lynch trying to get Kelly Yarncroc.
Right?
He's like, Kelly, yeah, you're my boy.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, it looks like they're in a commercial. I'm going to take a little bit of a commercial break myself.
All
I've been
right.
drinking too much Mountain Dew. We'll be back in a sec
Okay.
with pick number 6.
You want me to hang out here or just
You can hang out. I'm going to put it on pause for a sec.
okay?
All right, we're back. And they're making a pick for Detroit, Harold Washington Jr., a junior player. Oh, so Simon Edvinsson, the Swedish defenseman from Frölunda, is the pick for the Detroit
The
Red
D-man,
Wings. Yeah, defenseman.
they need defense.
They do. Well, they need a lot of everything.
You know, there was a guy that I felt really bad for this year was Thomas Greiss.
Yeah.
I mean, the scores and the losing. I mean, I think at one point he had like a 13-game losing streak.
Yeah.
A, he's not that bad. B, he wasn't playing that bad. I mean, and then he was getting beat 2-1, 1-0, 3-2. You know, he got absolutely no support.
Yeah.
You know, so it reflects poorly. And he's a good goaltender.
Yeah, and the problem with Detroit is they have been the last couple drafts have really been reaching with their picks, and this one, I mean, if you're kind of that school of take the best player available, so like a couple of years ago they took that guy Moritz Seider, which he's a decent player, but I don't know should have been picked as high as he was.
And
what-
then they gave away Cholowski now in the expansion.
I
I don't
honestly,
know
I've
how
never heard of
good
that
he
dude.
was. I don't know how good he was, but he was a rookie.
Yeah,
give it to-
yeah. There's not a lot in. That's the thing. I mean, they've got uh, Dylan Larkin and a couple of maybe I don't even know if Justin Abdelkader is still playing.
Verona will be good for them. That was a good pickup.
It was a good pickup. They got a king's ransom in that trade. They got another pick coming up later from Washington. Was one of the few first round picks that got moved at the trade deadline, and hopefully they can parlay both of these picks into. I hope it's not a whole lot of good stuff because Detroit's in our division, but um, you know, let's see if Steve Yzerman can kind of replicate his success and bring Detroit back to its once prominent state.
Hey, so what did you think of the divisional alignments this year as compared to the traditional?
I liked him, and I liked the All Canadian division. I think what they should have done now that there are 32 teams in the league is kind of do what the NFL does and have six, eight 14 divisions,
Mm-hmm.
and you play your division a ton, and then you play everyone else a home and home series. So you don't have, you're not. You're to get to the playoffs and to qualify for the playoffs and have a better seed, you're gonna have to beat up on your division.
Yeah.
And I think that helps create rivalries. And I think that was the nice thing about this season is that you're playing these teams so often, you're getting a lot of hate in these series. Like
Mm-hmm.
what happened between the Rangers and Washington.
Mm-hmm.
The Canadian series were great. I'm surprised
Yeah.
the Canadian media didn't really agitate more than it did to try and keep that all Canadian division.
Well, yeah, because it gives them a chance to get in the Final Four.
Well, and they made some noise. I mean, that's the crazy thing. Montreal's run was just so. I mean, watching them play this entire season, like I would never have guessed that they would have gotten anywhere near the finals. Like,
No, I there's no way. I had them getting blown out in the first round by Toronto, but then come on, Tom, it's Toronto,
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Toronto. I mean, that's the thing. Toronto did get to that 3-1 lead, and you're like, okay, well, maybe finally Toronto breaks through that first round thing. But when it hit Game 7, I was like, there's no way Montreal loses this because Toronto just got way too many Game 7 demons going on right now. Recent Game 7 demons.
It didn't break my heart. I'll tell you that.
Oh, not at all.
Because of who.
Well, yeah.
I mean, there was joy in Islander land when that happened.
Was he? I mean, by the end of that series, was he awake?
Who?
Because he got
Tavares?
wrecked
Huh?
that first game. Remember, he got wrecked by
God, yeah.
Corey Perry. I mean,
Oh God.
I saw that hit and I was like, I think he's
Oh
dead.
no. You mean the combination 1-2?
Yeah. Oh my God. Like
Down goes
knee,
Frazier.
the knee and then the head bouncing off the ice. Oh my God.
Down goes Frazier.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, oh, I think Johnny Tavares just died.
Oh, yeah.
I think I saw his soul leave his body at that one.
Yeah. And believe me, there was a collective roar, we'll say, that went up
Kind of
from
like my
Long
shirt.
Island.
Is that what it was? A little Schadenfreude.
Huh?
It's like my shirt, Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude, yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a interesting series. I'd predicted earlier in the season that before Montreal went through all its troubles, I was like, if we have a first round series between Montreal and Toronto, and they can get it to a Game 7, I'm not picking against Montreal. Just
Right.
you can't you can't pick against history at this point.
Nope.
And I'm surprised they did not fire what's his face, the GM for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
How
You
many
know, after all
times
this,
can they fire a GM in Toronto, though? Come on.
well, he's been there for the last 4 or 5 years now. Even though he's like
Lamoriello only came over from there.
Yeah,
Oh no, that's right. Lamoriello took some time off. That's right. That's
well,
right.
no, and Lamoriello was director of hockey ops. He was not the
Was he?
GM.
He wasn't the
Yeah.
GM. Okay.
All right, San Jose Sharks pick. All right, what William Eklund from Djurgården, Sweden. So, like I said, I was expecting a run on the European players.
On the European League.
And, so we got 2 straight picks from.
So what, I'm guessing the European Leagues got to play more games this year or something?
They did. Yeah. Well, and you know, Sweden's always good for a couple top flight players. So.
Oh. Every team needs a dirty Swede on their squad, on their roster.
Yeah, exactly. So William Eklund, let me get some stats on him. On European skaters, he was the top ranked one. So, you know, it's good deal. He's played in a ton of teams. He's in the Djurgården system, but he did play with the top club this year, which is for an 18-year-old is a good sign if they're playing men's league minutes. He had 23 points in 40 games, 11 goals, 12 assists.
I think San Jose is going to be a team that's going to continue for the near future to continue to go down, down, down.
Yeah, I mean, there's them and Anaheim just lack an identity. Like if you're asking me what Anaheim or San Jose is trying to accomplish, I don't know. I mean, Anaheim still or San Jose still has Brett Burns. They still have William Karlsson, or not William Karlsson, Eric Karlsson.
Yeah, and all they are cap drains anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Brett Burns is still pretty serviceable. I mean, Karlsson is almost a pylon at this point.
Yeah,
you know, his knee is pretty much done.
No, I agree with that. I don't. You know, I just saw Brett Burns was not as noticeable on the ice as he has been. You know, he's starting to lose.
Well, I think he's also taking it a little bit more on himself to try and make up for the team's deficiencies. Then you have
he's getting old.
Yeah, and then you have you know, Evander Kane, who, you know,
had a good year.
He had a decent year with a lot of shit kind of swirling around him.
Yeah,
with the bankruptcy, perhaps getting bought out or released.
He'd be met by a debt collector between the ice and the locker room.
Oh, it was awful. I mean, like, but you know, you saw that coming when, you know, like back in his Winnipeg days when he's, you know, going to Vegas and you know, holding up big stacks of money, and you're like, that's not going to last very long in Vegas.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting dude. He had a very checkered experience in Buffalo, and you know, I hope he gets it together. He's a talented dude. I mean, I you know, I remember back in the day when he was in Atlanta when he one punched Matt Cook. That was, you know, probably the highlight of his career at this point. He knocked him out. Was that Brant Clark was picked by the LA Kings, a defenseman. Let's get some information on him. On the North American skaters, he is ranked number 7. A little bit of a reach. There's some quality guys that are still out there. Dylan Gunther, I'm surprised, is not gone yet. But Brent Clark, he did go over to Europe to play this season. Nova Zamkey. in Slovakia. He scored 15 points in 26 games. He is a Barry Colt in the OHL when they're playing. So he's been on their World Junior team. But yeah, we'll see how that works out for LA's just got an embarrass. I mean, if there's a team that I want Buffalo to trade with for Jack Eichel, it's LA.
Get him out of the conference, the division, the conference, the time zone, and the
coast. Make him go to the West Coast. Not just on the competitive issues, the sheer amount of talent. I mean, if they're going to trade him in division, like or in the conference, I would rather them go to like Ottawa or something like that because they've got the assets that I would like to see come back. But do not trade him to the Rangers. Do not trade him to Ottawa. Trade him out west. Trade him to Anaheim. Trade him to LA. Trade him to. There's been rumors about Minnesota, although I have no idea who they would get.
Well, I'll say this though. I mean, as far as his career goes, you talk about Anaheim. I mean, Eichel's struggles as they are in Buffalo will be magnified out there because he'll have nobody to give.
We'll have a decrepit
with a team that's identity, if you will, is defense. Play defense. Yeah. Jack only cross the red line if you're sure.
Oh no, he's heard that before. That was Ralph Kruger's whole thing. Like, play safe. Don't do it. Don't take any chances. Don't take any chances. Take penalties.
Yeah. So don't wish Anaheim on Jack. I mean, come on.
Well,
send him up to Canada. Send him to Vancouver. Send him to Calgary. Calgary. Talk about a team. I'd say send him to Edmonton, but there's a couple guys up there that'll probably get the puck more than he will.
That would be interesting if you went to Edmonton. The thing for me when I look at a team is who can we get back in return? You're not just trying to get Jack out of the division. You got to get. And I think Kevin Adams now actually has a little bit more pressure on him because he did hit such a home run with the Ristolainen trade that if he's not quite as good with the Eichel trade, it'll get more criticism. Even if he does get a decent return.
He's in a no-win situation there.
Yeah, I mean he's going to get criticism no matter who he trades for, but. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Eichel. Again, they don't have to trade him. Even this summer, he's under contract for like 5 more years. The only urgency on trading him is that his no trade clause kicks in at the end of the season. Well, first. So I have to move him before then if they're going to move him. Because then he ends up
how do you like Olofsson?
I like Olofsson on the power play. I don't think he should be playing first line minutes.
Yeah. I mean, beginning of the year this year, he killed the Islanders on the power play.
Oh, yeah. His power play, I mean, he knows where to go on the ice on the power play. 5-on-5, he
disappears.
Yeah. He's just not good 5-on-5, and maybe eventually that develops in his game because he's still a young dude.
Yeah. No. I'm not here to question it. I mean, I think he's a good, solid player.
He is, but
a good solid. All right, let me say this: a good solid threat.
Yeah, well, he's a solid third liner at this point in his career, on even strength. Again, put him on the first power play line. Have him be. Have him quarterback the power play, be in the office on the power play. I do also think that he benefits from the fact that Jack Eichel is on the other side of the power play, so that people start
Well, that's
feeding over towards Eichel.
that's kind of what it's supposed to be like. And,
Yeah.
you're supposed to have somebody like that.
Who takes that place? Does it become somebody like if Reinhardt stays there? He doesn't have the shot to be on that other dot.
There's a lot of Islander fans that want the Lou to go after Reinhardt.
You know what?
Let him stay there in Buffalo.
I actually really do like Reinhardt. I think
Do
he's a good player. He does get overshadowed because he's
right
with Eichel and but I think that I would not be upset if he was one that we kept and did get rid of Eichel. All right, so Arizona's on the clock now.
My wife's telling me there's a tree right here in our backyard, and there's a great big hawk sitting right on it. Welcome to Albuquerque, guys.
There you go.
All right, who we got up? Arizona.
Arizona
Was that far up in the draft, or is this a trade?
That's from the OEL trade.
Oh, okay.
Did they actually bring the kid in? Yep, Dylan Gunther. Interesting. All right. Well, so Dylan Gunther goes to the Arizona Coyotes. Decent player. A Western Hockey League product. He was the 5th ranked skater, North American skater. Played for Edmonton in the WHL. Played for Canada in the IIHF under 18 championships. So yeah, I mean he's decent. Yeah, he's got a good shot. So we'll see what happens with him.
Did you ever go to a draft party, like for your team or anything?
Yeah, I went to when I lived in Atlanta. I went to a couple of their
Thrashers. Really?
Yeah, back in the Thrashers days, man.
Who'd they pick? Do you remember?
Alexander Burmistrov. Named out. Like he came right over. Like that was the danger with Russian players back then. You didn't know if you drafted a dude that whether he would come over or not. This dude comes over and flames out, and he's back in the KHL like in 2 years.
I've got to send you a meme. I got to laugh because you mentioned that name and I recognized it right away. Because right after the Seattle draft, there's a Facebook page I gather of Atlanta Thrashers, right? So
yeah,
they had a meme up there or a post that said, "Yeah, when we drafted number 1 in whatever year, we had a choice." No, it was during the expansion draft.
Oh God,
I might have the name wrong, but we'll use his name for now because
their first ever pick was Patrick.
Who the hell is it? Yeah. Well, anyway, the meme that they wrote or the post, they said, "Yeah, when we got to pick number 1 in our expansion draft, we picked Alexander Burmistrov, and Seattle just passed up Carey Price and Victor Tarasenko."
That is the craziest thing about that the whole thing. Like Seattle had chances to pick players that would have been halfway decent. Like would have made your team, maybe not playoff ready, but at least competitive.
Josh Bailey. They could have taken Josh Bailey and made my year. That would have been like winning the Stanley Cup for me.
They could have taken Jeff Skinner.
Yeah. Right. Okay,
I mean,
I'm gonna get inspired for you now.
There you go. I couldn't. The one player that I didn't want them to take on Buffalo is the one they took. Will Borgen. We've spent 5 years developing him. He's a
really
decent defenseman. I mean, I'm not uber mad, but it did figure that the one player that I didn't want to go was the one that got picked. Like when you watch every other team and it was like, who?
And
Even,
there
even
I
the
am,
fans of that team were like, "We had that player on our team."
and there I was, and probably better than 60% of the Islander nation. Please take Josh Bailey. Please take Josh Bailey. And then it's turning out they're taking all these. Looks like they want to save money, And I'm
Yeah,
thinking, okay, we're in because Everly's more money than Bailey, and they took Everly anyway. Oh God, not that I love Everly, but I mean, Jesus, please take Josh Bailey.
yeah. Well, and I don't understand their strategy because it doesn't seem like there are some decent free agents, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot out there. I mean, there's Landeskog. Um, God, that's
We
the
got
only
Landeskog, Tarasenko. You got Doug Hamilton.
yeah, but by putting together that team, I mean, if you're a forward who wants to compete, are you going to want to be on that team? I mean, there's a decent
No,
back end, but are you, or are you going to sign? Maybe take a year. Maybe you do the Taylor Hall. You take a year deal somewhere to be competitive, and maybe take a run of the cup, and then next year hopefully the salary cap goes up, but they're still saying that maybe
yeah.
a year or two before the salary cap goes up.
Well, the owners are going to try to hold on to it for as long as they can.
Oh yeah, I think inflation is going to knock that one out of the park. So
Yeah. Here's an issue that needs to be addressed, and I'm not sure I want to take the side here just because of my Canadian teams are really kind of screwed with the whole salary structure, big time, because of
yeah,
the taxes. The
yeah,
taxes, and better players don't want to play up there.
yeah. I
Especially
mean,
when you can go play in Tampa or Texas and not pay any,
yeah, no income
something
tax.
something you and I are very familiar with, the
Yeah,
goddamn income taxes.
yeah. I mean, and not even that, but even in some of the other cities. I mean, unless you're like New York City or
Yeah. Well, a
uh,
place like New York City or LA, California, the
yeah,
taxes are high.
the taxes are exorbitant. But if you're you go to play Nashville again, another team that doesn't have sales tax. Team doesn't have to pay as much money to that player because they end up making more money take home than they do than they would if they were playing in Montreal or New York City
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah.
You know,
So, I don't know, just spitball and brainstorming here. Is this an issue that the NHL needs to address?
can't really address the tax.
Well, maybe I don't know. And I'm again from a competitive perspective because they want pure competition,
Yeah,
supposedly. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't
So
know.
Tyler
I don't
Boucher
know.
goes to Ottawa.
Another Boucher
Another Boucher.
related.
Yeah, they got that's kind of a reach. The had him ranked as the 33rd ranked prospect. Um,
And where are we at? 10, 11?
yeah, like 11, I believe. No, that was number 10. TSN had him ranked as the 29th ranked right wing, 29th ranked player, right winger. Plays in the USA National Team Development Program. Oh well, so they're bringing out these like a fitness freak. That's cool and all, but
A what?
that this guy is like a fitness freak. Like he's got a shredded body.
How can you play in the NHL and not be a fitness freak?
I know.
I mean, come on. Most well, I've always considered them the most well conditioned athletes in the world.
Yeah, it got to be. Um, so yeah, that's a bit of a reach there.
Yeah, yeah.
The,
It's
when you look at the top 10 that Bob McKenzie from TSN had, Power, Berniers, Edvinson, Eklund, McTavish, Gunther, Clark, Luke Hughes, Kent Johnson. Pretty much went not in the same order, but he got all all 9 of those guys went in the top 9. This is the greatest name. I would have picked this guy just for his name. His 10th ranked guy was a guy named Chaz Lucius.
Boxer.
Boxer or gigolo? Either one. Another national team development player, but that's a name. I'd like to see that. So Lucius, Cole Sillinger, which is Mike Sillinger's son. There's a Swedish goaltender. First goaltender that's ranked in this list is Jesper Wallstedt out of Luleå in Sweden. Let's see. Yeah, that's the first real big reach that we've seen so far.
Oh, so getting back to let's get back to your first your Atlanta Thrashers draft party, because then I'll tell you mine.
It was actually Columbus is about to make a second pick. All right, Cole Sillinger, Mike Sillinger's son, goes
cool
to Columbus.
Great face off, man.
Well, his son is a center, so hopefully for Columbus, he picked up that trait.
Yeah, at least got some lessons. Columbus got him.
Yeah, Columbus got him. So 2 decent picks in here in the top 12. Calgary's on the clock. Then my Sabres are back on the clock.
How many picks you got? 3?
No, just 2 in the first.
2, but still top 12. That's good.
Yeah. But let's see.
Sure, you don't want Josh Bailey for that next pick.
No.
You sure? Come on.
We've already got an Islander on our team making a lot of money. So. I would like to see Buffalo take a run on that goaltender, Jesper Wallstedt. That'd be nice to have him in the fold.
Allmark, hot and cold.
Hot and cold, and I don't think he's going to re-sign with the Sabres. So he's a free agent. They do have a good young prospect named Uka. Best name in the NHL, Uka-Pekka Luukkonen.
Let's get an NFL player out there to read that one.
They were lucky that one wasn't available. So my draft story. Let me tell you my draft story. So it was at Phillips Arena in Atlanta, which is now State Farm Arena, I believe. It was fine. My wife and I went to dinner, and it's attached to CNN Center, so you could do. I think we did a Coke tour, the World Coke tour, and then we went to the draft party. It was actually a little bit later than the Thrashers normally draft. The Thrashers normally draft like top 5 because they just sucked all the time. But they drafted a little bit later, and when Burmistrov came up, people were excited, but not really too keen on the pick. And like I said, he flamed out relatively quickly. Atlanta, people like to talk about Atlanta as not being an NHL city. The problem wasn't the fan base in Atlanta.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, the problem wasn't the fan base in Atlanta at all. It was that you had an ownership group that had no clue. They bought the Thrashers off of Turner. It was Time Warner Media. That's who they bought them off of, and they bought them just because it was a package deal. They had to take the Thrashers because they wanted to buy the Hawks, and the Hawks were the owners were very keen on building up the Hawks, and they just got really gimmicky with the Thrashers. when it came closer to the end, when Ilya Kovalchuk wanted to move on, the year before his contract's up, they bring in like every Russian player that's available in the NHL to
Not a
try.
big market, probably not a big market draw down there.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but they were trying to keep Kovalchuk, and I get it. My wife's favorite player in Buffalo at the time was Maxim Afinogenov. So Maxim Afinogenov, or just speedy little guy.
There's a great hockey name.
Yeah. The cool thing about that was that my wife got to meet him because the practices for the Thrashers, you could go up. I mean, you're standing on the glass of their little practice arena, which was the dump, but it was it was really cool getting to see all the players. But the next year, they lose Kovalchuk, and they trade for. It was the draft party was the day that they traded for Dustin Byfuglien from Chicago. It was right after Chicago won their first Stanley Cup. They trade for him, and I will call this probably the most cynical move of the ownership. And it wasn't long before they were out of town anyway. But they tried to bring in like every. It didn't work with all the Russians, so they tried to bring in like every black player that was available to play with Byfuglien and Vander Kane. They brought in Chris Stewart. I think they brought in both Stewart brothers. They brought in there are a couple other players that decent players, but it was a gimmick, and I think they were trying to increase the attendance of local Atlantans. But it didn't work. By the end of the season, they were on the way to Edmonton.
I mean, that's a Charlie Finley move from baseball.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucked. I mean, the fans were there. The fans were there to do it. But the problem is Atlanta had so much competition for the sports dollar. Like, if you didn't like what the Thrashers were doing because they were perennial losers.
Let's not forget the NHL was not as supportive of new teams as they are nowadays.
Well, if Gary Bettman had been a quarter, even 5% as supportive of Atlanta as he was the Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes, they'd still be there. He made no effort to try and keep Atlanta because he used Atlanta as the team to basically shut Canada up because Canada had been aggravating for another team, and he didn't want to move the Coyotes because that was his baby, his first foray into a very, very non-traditional hockey market, and that it just he didn't go to bat at all for Atlanta, and the first buyers that came by were True North that moved him up to Winnipeg. And Winnipeg has still got the same issues that they did when they lost the Jets. They have their building is the smallest in the NHL.
No,
it only has
maybe now. It wasn't until.
Well, it was they only had 15,000 capacity there.
Well, Islanders max was 13.
Oh, well, the Coliseum. But now this is when the Islanders were playing
in the Coliseum.
Well, also playing in Brooklyn too.
It may have said a max of whatever 17 or 18, but
yeah. Well, and you had the obstructed seat.
You could only sit in 10,000 of them.
Oh, Matthew Coronado went to Calgary. Matthew is a right winger, plays for the Steel. Let me see. Coronado, right winger, 5'10". He's a little short. He plays for Chicago Steel, the USHL, probably going to college for a year. And then probably make the jump into the Calgary system. He might do a couple of years in college. The nice thing about taking college players is you get them for you get draft protected status for their 4 years.
Right.
Like the Canadian juniors, you only get them for 2 years.
Yeah.
But
And what's nice is, it's easy for them to just say, I'm not playing college anymore.
yeah, they can walk away at any time during their college career. It's happened. I know a couple times. Kyle Turris, I believe, did that when he was with Arizona, when he was drafted by Arizona and walked away from college like in the middle of the semester. He's like,
Islanders got Devin Tays that way.
yeah. Buffalo's on the clock, 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in their pick. But yeah, for Atlanta, both times they had a team. They lost their team due to issues that were not related to the fan base. It was the second time was just bad owners who didn't know how to run a hockey team. The first time it was an owner that had, really did try and build a good hockey base in Atlanta. The Thrashers or the Flames made the playoffs a lot. They just never won in the playoffs at all. But his issue was that he was heavily invested in the real estate market back in the late 70s, and that market crashed and stagflation and all that stuff just dried him up, and that's why he was forced to sell. And of course, Calgary wanted a team, so they brought him over to Calgary. I don't know. I mean, I think the shame of the whole thing is that eventually you're going to have to move Arizona. I just don't see Arizona's long-term, unless they can build a consistent winner.
News report out today. Coyotes want a new arena on the east side of town. Have you been out there at Phoenix to see the complex or anything at Gila River, their stadium?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been out in Phoenix.
Well, it's nice. It's a beautiful arena. It's on the west side.
No.
Huh?
It's way out.
Yeah, it's way out west. And it isn't the problem with the distance as it is with the traffic. Trying to get out there because for the most part the population center is on the east side, but the west side is growing, so the roads aren't what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So they do have an issue out there, but
there's no transportation out there.
It's a beautiful. There's no public. No.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful complex. I mean, it's right with the football stadium. They're right next to each other.
Yeah, and for football, I mean, it's easier to get to a game on a Sunday afternoon.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah, you're not having to worry about going to work the next morning.
Right.
Getting stuck in traffic at 10 o'clock at night as the game lets out.
Right. But anyway, the team wants Arizona to build them a new arena, and I'm like, are you guys kidding me?
Yeah. No, they're gonna use this as the same thing. I didn't hear what came of the Oakland A's, whether they got that stadium approved or not. But this is every team tries to do this to their local community to get them to build them a stadium. The brand,
Well, what it says to me is they're not stable.
No, they're not stable.
I mean, the whole thing with the Islanders and all of their venue travails for 15, 20 years, with the Coliseum. And I mean, this was an annual thing. They didn't want a new stadium somewhere else. None of any of the ownership parties that came in did not want, to relocate. They wanted, and they didn't want, all they wanted was, renovate and refurbish and clean up and expand. They wanted an expansion of the facilities to the point where when Charles Wang became the owner, he said, I'm not even asking you guys for any money. He said, I'll raise all the financing. I want, and he, designed this because they're a good plot of land that they're on there, even though it's out on Long Island. He had a whole complex of, housing and commerce and everything, and the Nassau Coliseum would be, rebuilt and hold 16,000-17,000, and all he needed, he had the money lined up All he needed was for the town of Hempstead, Nassau County, to give him the okay. And government got in the way. So then
The
we
way it
gave,
always does.
huh?
The way it always does.
Yeah, and then it was just it was a mess for the Islanders for a decade, just a
So
mess.
is the new stadium there at Belmont Park going to be public financed, or is it
Oh no, it's the state.
private?
It's
No,
Cuomo
state.
make jobs.
State.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Buffalo's pick.
Well, it kind of and it was kind of Bettman told, not just the Islanders, but the whole government thing in New York. He said, the Islanders will be gone. He says they have to leave. They can't play in that arena anymore.
All right,
So
so Buffalo picked Isaac Rosen out of Leksand in Sweden. He
Rosen, Rosen,
Rosen, yes,
interesting
Isak.
name. An
No, Ian.
interesting name from Sweden.
Yeah, 5'11", right wing. Played in a, he of course the European players go up and down their lineups, but he did get some time in the Swedish Elite League, although he only got 1 point. I'm not really excited about this pick. He did in the Leksand Junior team. He had 35 points and 21 goals in 38 games. We'll see. He'll probably spend a couple more seasons in Sweden seasoning up and then come over. But
no trades yet.
yeah, no one. I mean, we had plenty of trains rolling into the draft, but nothing since to move up or down. All right. So Buffalo's got Owen Power and Isaac Rosen. They might be able to move back up into the first round. They do have a couple of second round picks to try to entice.
Was that Rosen guy yours, Buffalo?
Yeah.
The winger?
Yeah, right wing, 5'11", 156. Let's see.
It's the second time, you kind of grimaced with the height, 5'10", 5'11". But I got in a discussion with a couple of Islander fans the other night, and what were we talking about? Somebody coming to the Islanders, and with if Eberle and Bailey left, and this other I forget who coming to the Islanders. Maybe it was not Gord, but Palat, because Palat's only like 5'9" or 5'10", and he said too many short players, small players. I says, what do you mean? He says, well, we'd have like two or three under 5'11". I said, and I did a quick thing. I pulled up Tampa's roster. They got 5 guys under 5'11". How'd they do? So I mean, I know where you're coming from, because there was a long time there where if you weren't 6'1" and 210, we didn't care how fast you could skate or stick handle. You're not coming in the league. And now it's just gone the other way. Now they're looking for the little, as Earl Weaver called them, the little fucking mosquitoes.
So he was ranked 18th overall by Bob McKenzie in his TSN rankings. So not too much of a reach for Buffalo, looking at it from that perspective. I don't know. We'll see. This one seems like a more of a hope this one works out pick than. But at this point with all these guys, I think we're kind of hitting the a lot of the guys that we're not exactly sure how they're going to work out.
Yeah.
I still would have loved to have seen them either go after Wallstedt out of Sweden or the Sebastian Kosa out of Edmonton.
No Russians yet, huh?
No, there's a Fedor Svechkov. He plays in the Russian Junior League. Looks like he's the highest ranked Russian player. He's ranked right ahead of Isaac Rosen.
Okay, so my draft party story.
Yeah.
2008. This is when like blogging and newspaper, especially blogging on newspapers.
Yeah.
You could like chat, not chat, but at least exchange message on message boards with the newspaper writers and whatnot. Infancy stages, and this is before newspapers had firewalls, and so
Yeah.
I was really active, as the name on the bottom says there, Islander 505. With the Newsday guy, Greg Logan, and a couple of the other Newsday guys. So anyway, long story getting too much longer. So I decided to go back to Coliseum for the party, and of course, I knew like 6 or 7, well, 3 or 4 reporters were actually there, Newsday reporters and all these other people, and I was here's Islander 50, all off of the stuff I used to write, because me. I won't hold back on opinions. So, I a little semi VIP status, having beers with the reporters, and Garth Snow was there, but okay, here's the.
Oh, wait a minute. We've got a trade, I think.
Okay, got a trade.
Dallas trading their pick. So Detroit is taking Dallas's 15th pick in return for Detroit's 23rd pick, a second round pick at 48, and a fifth round pick at 138. All this draft.
Okay. So
they're just moving.
Yeah.
Detroit is moving up.
Detroit's got. If they gave away that much in this draft, there's somebody they really want.
Yeah, I'm thinking this goaltender.
Goaltender. They just picked up Nedeljkovic. They got Grace.
Whoever they pick is gold. Yeah, they're a first round pick. I don't think that they're destined to start here in the next year or two. So I mean, Ned will probably be the starting goaltender coming out.
Yeah, but it seems
this year.
Well, whatever. Okay, so the punchline to my story, 2008.
Yeah,
I'm having a great time. Big crowd there. They had about 7,000-8,000 because Islanders were picking like 6th, and then they kept trading down. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, because we're going to get Nicholas Filatov, and we're going to get players that never panned out. Who would the Islanders wind up with, like the 12th pick? Josh Bailey. Like shit. Well, no, and I was like, great, yeah, great, Josh Bailey. In a couple of years, I'm going, how'd they get this guy, and why is he still on the team? Now here he is, 13 years later.
All right. Yeah, maybe this is where we see Chaz Lucius go.
The name of the draft.
Name.
What's he play? What position?
He's a center. He's luscious.
They're already printing the jerseys.
That's right. Get ready to hammer that one on the cup. All right, they're talking. Yeah, when there's a trade, they reset the clock. So, a few minutes for this one. But I think you would think that they were so hot to trade for this pick, they would have the guy ready to go. Okay, now the pick's in. All right. Little Caesars Arena. I mean, I know that it's a kind of a Detroit thing, but I don't know which is worse, Little Caesars Arena or Colorado's now being Ball Arena.
Who?
Colorado Avalanche's arena is now Ball Arena. The ball, the mason jars.
Yeah.
Sebastian Kosa, goaltender. So that's a good pick for them. I think both of these, Wallstedt and Kosa, are probably safe pick for goalie. Kosa's a goaltender out of Alberta. Played for Edmonton Oil Kings in the Western Hockey League.
Hey, you gotta get Dan. You gotta get Dan on one of these hockey calls so we can educate him.
Oh, poor Dan's in Rapid City for that.
Oh, I know. No, he's in Vegas right now. Oh no, Rapid City. That's where it happened.
Yeah.
Freedom Fest was usually in.
Yeah, it's been in Vegas until they got run out. Yeah.
we won't go. We won't go into a discussion about Freedom Fest.
Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not there.
I've done my time there.
There you go.
The year I almost had, and there's a picture of me doing it, Michael Steele donating to Our America Initiative. Somebody took a picture of me. I was putting the hard sell on him.
Nice.
And when he finally figured out what it was, I mean, I didn't, deny who we were. He looked at me and he started laughing. He says, "You trying to get me fired?"
See, if he had gone,
I said, just a dollar.
If he'd gone that way, then we might not have ever had Trump.
All right, back to hockey.
Yeah. So, your favorite team's on the clock.
What?
Your favorite team's on the clock.
Who?
New York Rangers.
Oh. You scared me. I thought, did I miss a trade? That
A trade? The Islanders on? No, yeah, the Rangers are. So this is the last pick of teams that did not make the playoffs at 16. Although technically it's the 15th pick because Arizona's pick was 4.
What? The Rangers didn't make the playoffs? Really? Really?
Oh, and they, so with the Pavel Buchnevich trade, I decided to go look at Twitter, and I was looking. I was just going to look at NHL draft stuff, and I saw for some reason Tom Wilson was trending. I'm like, what the hell? Why is Tom Wilson trending? Did he get traded? So I look at it, and it's nothing but Rangers fans saying that Tom Wilson's still beating up our team because they're trading all their players for muckers and grinders to fight Tom Wilson.
See, I didn't. All right, I didn't catch what you were. I didn't get the significance of
it. Tom Wilson's still beating up our team.
That's good.
I love it. I was laughing my ass off when I saw that. All right, Chris Drury. That's a sore subject with me too.
Huh?
That was my worst birthday. My birthday is July 1st. So
okay, we're both cancers.
Yeah, July 1st of 2007, the day that Chris Drury and Daniel Briere signed like an hour apart. Danny to Philadelphia and Chris to the Rangers.
Yeah.
The only redeeming thing about that was that Chris. I think he played like a year and a half after leaving Buffalo because his knees were just shot by the time he got the Rangers. I didn't have any enmity for Danny Briere, even though I hate the Flyers, because the Sabres made it clear that they wanted to sign Drury, and they threw all the cash at him. In fact, they matched the offer that the Rangers were, and he just wanted to go play for the Rangers. And Briere was just
hometown
Yeah, but I mean, Briere was justifiably hurt that the Sabres wanted Drury more than they wanted him, so he signed with the Flyers, and he had a few more serviceable years in the NHL.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bad birthday because
So
later that
well,
afternoon is when
when you mentioned that, I thought, Jesus, you got to deal with UFA Day every year, except for this year.
yeah.
Your birthday.
Yeah, most years it's
I mean, it could be
okay,
good
not
birthday
bad.
presents or bad ones, like you said.
Yeah, I was happy when we signed Kyle Okposo. I was like, hey,
I
that's
was
not
sad.
bad.
I was sad to see him go.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a bad day because not only that, but like 2 or 3 hours later is when Edmonton made a RFA deal to Thomas Vanek. They made that would have triggered if we had just let Vanek go, we would have gotten Edmonton's next 4 first round picks and maybe Vanek would have had the team play a little bit better. But we would have gotten 4 top 10 for first round picks for Thomas
Sure.
Vanek, which would have been
Sure.
better. But after losing Drury and Briere, they had to keep Vanek, so they signed Vanek to a bigger deal than he deserved at that point in his career. Even though I did like Vanek, I thought he was a very good sniper. Would disappear for times, but
That's kind of the magic and the owner's bane of the whole free agent thing is that players they normally wouldn't give money to they backed into a corner.
Yeah.
What happens elsewhere?
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more. But I think I think teams. It's kind of like having a nuclear weapon. You if you use it, don't be surprised if somebody uses it back on you. And everyone's got a player that they don't want overvalued. All right, Rangers pick is in now.
You should get Nick on here for a hockey talk sometime and give shit to the Caps.
Yeah. All right, I picked somebody. They're all excited. What was it? Brennan Othman. I had him at. He was 16th in Bob McKenzie's list on the North American skaters. He was ranked number 8 as North American skater. They have him listed as 6'5", 6', 175.
Forward.
Yeah. Let's see. What are they listed as?
It's all about the skating now.
Left winger. He's 6 foot now. 6 foot, 175. These. Of course, all these guys are all like 175 and 18 years old.
They're kids. They're still in high school.
Yeah.
So. Okay, I'm gonna go another 4 minutes here, and I'm gonna.
All right. I hear you. This is they need to speed these up. I mean, I get that you want a little more drama. These guys to talk a little bit more about
Commercials.
players and stuff.
Commercials.
Yeah. But you got to figure once you start rolling past, it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yeah.
This will probably be going to about midnight. I'm probably not going to go that long.
They are very.
Picks.
I can remember from 2008. It's a very long, slow, drawn-out process.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's we'll I'm hoping that because we've been doing. They started 8 o'clock, so we're 2 hours in. We're about halfway through. So,
well, it's like a baseball game. It's going to be a 4-hour match.
Well, it's not that bad compared to the or the NFL draft. The NFL draft's 5 or 6 hours.
I've never watched one of them,
I've
and I rarely watch these ones, but I just kind of pay attention.
yeah.
See who got that.
All right. Looks like the Blues are picking. Oh, they're still on the clock. They haven't picked yet.
And the Blues are picking someone off the Rangers because they can. Because Tom Wilson said so.
Yeah. Pick this dude. I want to fight him next. Yeah. You know, if I was Chaz Lucius at this point, I would be wondering, is it my name? Is that the reason why I'm not getting drafted yet? Nobody wants to say Chaz Lucius?
Get my agent on the line. Do we got to make a
I
change
want a
here?
name change to Rock Scimitar. uh, this guy's tie is obnoxiously green. All right, their picks in. Let's see who they got. I wonder how much longer Gary Bettman's gonna be GM or be a commissioner. All right, Zachary Bolduc from Rimouski in the Quebec Junior Hockey League is the
Bolduc? Bolduc?
Yep.
I wonder if he's a brother of Islander pick from last year. What's his first name?
Zachary.
God, the Islanders could have had a
brother action.
Yeah.
Let's see. Zach's stats here. I had him ranked as the 19th overall, and they got him on 17th. Not too much of a reach. Not too bad. He was ranked right below Buffalo's pick, Isaac Rosen.
6'1" center.
Yeah, 6'1" center. Yeah, I don't know. Winnipeg Jets are on the clock now.
No, I don't see any references to the Islander guy being his brother.
Hmm.
No, we'll find out at some.
Yeah, it's not an uncommon name in Quebec.
All right, Winnipeg. All right. I mean, I could say what does Winnipeg need, but they're not going to get what they need in this draft right now. But
No. Probably a do-over. What they need is a do-over on that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade.
No.
I was just
No.
I would have done that straight up with Pierre-Luc Dubois and Patrick Laine. That Columbus also got Zach Roslovic out of it.
That whole Liney thing, I never understood because.
Well, the worst team he could have gone to was Columbus because
I didn't understand the whole problem in Winnipeg, though, unless he just didn't like playing there.
Maybe he wants to be in a big city, but my friend Travis said that when Laine got traded, it was basically Dubois going from Ohio to Canada's Ohio, and for Line A, he went from Winnipeg to America's Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Basically the same. They're in the same type of market. So
Yeah. All right, one more pick, and then I'm going to sign off here.
all right, that sounds good.
What subject can we close the show on here?
All right. So if you're the commissioner and you get a call tomorrow saying that Arizona is not going to get an arena, that ownership wants to back out, that the team needs to move, where do you want it to go?
Nassau Coliseum. No. The next city, in effect, the next city for the NHL.
Chaz Lucius got picked.
Oh, did he?
He did.
You know,
He's going to the peg. He's going to get pegged.
I hung around for it. It's going to be a thrasher. What do you mean a peg?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
next city. Yeah. God, I really haven't given it any thought. But
well, I mean,
and now we got all the conferences and divisions are properly aligned.
well,
I keep leaning towards Canada.
well, yeah. And see that here's some likely scenarios. One will be Houston. It's got the population to support it.
Sure.
You'd have the in-state rivalry with Dallas.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to move divisions. The second one would be Kansas City because it was there with when the Islanders were and the Penguins were rumored to be moving.
Yeah.
They've got an NHL ready arena there that doesn't have a tenant, doesn't have a basketball team.
Right.
That's why it's probably superior to Houston in that because Houston has a basketball team. They have more competition for that winter sports dollar. You could go even further west, go to Portland. But that has they have an NBA basketball team there. So that would, I don't know if the city is big enough to support, they got the soccer team, they've got the Trailblazers. Would they be able to support another team for a winter sport? And then in Canada, they've been
is there even a city that could support?
They've been trying to resurrect Quebec City, and what that would do though is you could, if you wanted to, realign and have either an all Canadian division with 8 teams,
or 2 4s,
Western and Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could realign the other areas to have divisions that make sense. I don't know. But the problem is it's the same thing with Canada. The issues that led to Quebec and Winnipeg leaving are still there. They still have issues with the Canadian dollar being like 60 cents to the American. So, and then do they have the corporate base there to buy the big luxury boxes at the arena and stuff like that?
I just, for no logical reason, what carries my thought on that is it just seems like Bettman and the NHL owes Canada one. I mean, everything has been USA for a long time.
Yeah.
But from a business perspective, I mean, even Quebec City, can they support?
Yeah. You couldn't put it in the Maritimes. You couldn't put it in like Saskatchewan. I mean, do you want to put another team in Ontario?
The Newfies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the logical city would be Quebec City because they have had a team before. Again, will they be able to support it in a way that makes them competitive? Because again, it's got the same issues, the tax issues that Montreal has, but then it also has a smaller base, a smaller fan base, a smaller corporate base, and none of the history. I mean, they do have a little bit of history, having a WHA team and then one, coming over, but they just don't have the. I don't think they have what it takes to maintain a long-term NHL franchise. You'll have the diehards, of course.
Change geographic. What about Milwaukee? That's a team that's never mentioned.
That, and you would think that that's a natural
strong population base. They drink a lot of beer. They got natural rivalries with Chicago, Minnesota, and Detroit. Huge population base. It's a winter city. And I'm not suggesting that it should be at the top of anybody's list, but it's never talked about.
Yeah. And they've got the arena, they got the basketball arena that probably could be converted to hockey. They've got a strong national collegiate program, fairly close in Madison. So you got people that are used to watching hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a bad choice. Again, it does have that basketball team there. It is a kind of a four-sport town if you count the Green Bay Packers being close enough.
Milwaukee supports professional franchises, though. They've got a track record. They have baseball, basketball.
Sure.
In effect, football with Green Bay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would not. If Arizona is forced to move, and I do think eventually it's going to have. I don't think Arizona is going to pay for a new arena. And if you're going to lose a team, if you have all the sports represented in your area, if you're going to lose a team, most politicians, especially in a non-traditional hockey market, are not going to cry a lot about losing a hockey team. If the Suns left, that would be a scandal. If the Coyotes left, that'd be like, well, we gave it a try. So,
if they just produced a winner.
But Arizona's had not tremendous success, but they've gone. I mean, they were in a conference final. They've been
not this past year, but the year before. I thought they were a solid shot to give all kinds of problems in the playoffs because Kemper was hot as a pistol.
Yeah,
and they were getting decent scoring. They were beating everybody.
Yeah,
and now they're throwing up the white flag already before the next season.
Yeah. I mean, they did have a good run in the bubble.
And they got good young players.
They do. Although they gave up on Connor Garland, which I don't understand why they did.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that just seemed like a throwaway in that trade. But, I mean, it got him a first-round draft pick. But, they're picking up on Louis Eriksson and Roussel and Jay Beagle. Which
Jay Beagle. You guys need a goon, huh?
Plan the parade route, man.
All right, I'm cutting out here.
All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute too. So
good talking to you.
Yeah, good talking, man.
Invite me again sometime. You get a couple.
Yeah, absolutely. So the show is, we call it the Saturday Hockey Show, but we're moving it to Thursday nights next season. So. Ever want to come on and talk hockey?
Yeah. Oh, me? Come on.
Third man
in. I'd be sitting in political meetings, let's talk hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the same way. Yeah. Let's. How do we frame this in kind of a hockey sense
Just get rid of Josh Bailey. That's all I care.
There you go.
All right,
Man.
David. Good talking to you again.
Good talking to you too.
Later.
Later. All right. So yeah, I mean, we're out. Pick is in for the Nashville Predators. David Boyle. All right. So the Russian player, Fedor Svechkov from what is his team? European Skaters. Mr. Svechkov is the sixth ranked um, European skater. He plays for Tolyatti of the Russian Junior League, and yeah, so heading to Nashville. Now, of course, the question with Russian players always is, when will we saw it this year with Kirill Kaprizov? You know, it was like what 4 years ago that Minnesota drafted Kaprizov, and we're always waiting for him to come over, and he finally did, and he lit up the league. So very cool to see that Kirill Kaprizov is still, that he was able to come over. So many times we get these guys and they stay over in Russia for a few years. They come over and they're just not that great. And I think that's because the development in the United States and Canada is so much better than what's going on in Russia. Um, so that's, I think that's probably why you've seen a lot of, teams sour on taking Russian players, is that they just don't get access to them quickly enough and are left holding the bag when they do finally come over, wasting a top draft pick. So there are a couple of Russians that are in the mix here. Svechkov was ranked 17. Let's see. There's Danil Chaika, who is playing for Moskva in the KHL. Not sure which. Is that Dynamo, maybe? Yeah, it doesn't really say. It says Moskva, but I don't know if there's a new team there or not. But yeah, so that's looks like two of the. Oh, they're talking about the Sabres. Hold on a second. All right. Yeah, so not terribly surprised with what Elliot Friedman is reporting. And if you ever get a chance, go back and look at Elliot Friedman during the lockdown. He grew the most epic beard. I named it one of Canada's new provinces, Newfoundland. But it so the news is that the more interest in Sam Reinhart right now, because I think he's going to be the easier get for an NHL GM than Jack Eichel. And if sounds like we'll probably see news on Sam Reinhart moving out sooner rather than later. the thing with Eichel is that one, the ask is high, which it should be for a player of Eichel's caliber, and also factoring in the fact that he's still injured. Um, NHL GMs are not really happy to see that happen. Now, if it gets out there that an NHL GM is starting to really get serious about kicking the tires, you might see more GMs get in the mix and kind of move up to where Buffalo's position is. If the GMs remain strong, then you might see Buffalo's ask come down a little bit. But again, Buffalo doesn't need to trade anybody. There is no reason for Buffalo to trade Jack Eichel at this point if you're not going to get what you want for Jack Eichel. We got a trade. Edmonton trades the pick for number 20 to the Wild. So looks like a second and a third round pick in the draft going to Edmonton for pick number 20. Oh, I'm sorry, just 2 spots. So first round pick, Edmonton goes back to 22. The Wild go up to 20, and the other pick is a third round pick, number 90 in this draft. I don't know who Minnesota goes for because they dodged a bullet and didn't lose a goaltender in the expansion draft. So I don't know if they're really keen on getting Wallstedt or not. They did buy out Ryan Suter and Zach Parise. So they do need some forward help. But again, a guy this late is not going to come and make an impact this season. At this point, you're hoping 2-3 years down the line, this player will, after playing a year in juniors or 2 years in juniors, maybe a year in the NHL or in the AHL, then they're on the roster. So we'll see what they're looking at. The top players still open after Chaz Lucius got picked up. I believe Fabian Lysell maybe is the top player. They had him ranked at 14. The guy at 20 is Xavier Bourgal out of Shawinigan in the Quebec Junior Hockey League. And then, of course, Jesper Wallstedt. And if you're jumping up, it kind of makes me think that you're going to go for Wallstedt. I mean, that's what happened with Detroit. They jumped up to get the goaltender that they wanted. So they got another 3 minutes. But again, when you trade for a pick, you should have an idea who you want to pick. So hopefully we'll get the pick in here in a minute. And I think after this pick, I might hang it up for the evening. Yeah, Wallstedt, Lysol, Carson Lambos, Francesco Pinelli. Hey, good Paisan right there. Atu Rati or Ratu. I think it's pronounced Ratu. Corson Kulemans. So there's some decent players on. I'm looking around because I've got a light in the middle of the names that's blocking my view. Decent names out there. Again, just because of the nature of this draft year and not being able to scout enough, let's see, what did Tom send me? Brennan Othman, 16th overall, ranked him 111th, 74th among forwards. Wow. So perhaps the Islanders, or I'm sorry, not the Islanders, the Rangers took a chance on this guy. Although, after drafting 1 and 2 the previous 2 years, I'll probably take a flyer on the with this Othman guy. So All right. So, Minnesota's got some decent prospects. So let's see what they get here. All right. Here comes Bill Guerin to make the pick. Turn it over, Gary. Shut up, Gary. Shut up, Gary. Rip Tom Curvers. That's a nice touch. They got Curver's family there and his jersey hanging up in the locker stalls. That's kind of a nice touch. Yep. Jesper Wallstead goes to the Minnesota Wild. Good pick. Again, I'm high on these goaltenders. I think that they're gonna be difference makers. He's with Luleå in Sweden. He was 10-12-0 this season. Although if you follow Swedish hockey, they don't do wins and losses for goaltenders, so it's more of a North American stat. They focus more on save percentage and goals against average. Um, they don't pin wins and losses on goaltenders. So let's see. But yeah, I mean he's got good size. He's got good movement. It's a good pick for Minnesota. I like it. All right. Well, we've made it through 20 picks, and I'm not going to do all 4 hours of this thing. So, if the Sabres come on, I'll probably do a brief supplemental on my phone. But I'm happy-ish with the outcome of today. We've got Rasmus Ristolainen moved on to Philadelphia. We've got Owen Power in the farm now, so I believe he returns to Michigan this season. Although I mean he could change his mind and come to Buffalo. I would rather him play a year in Michigan. Let Buffalo do its struggles this season. And then they kind of took a chance on the on Isaac Rosen out of Leksands in Sweden. He's got some growing to do. It's not just the height. I mean, 5'11" is not awful, but 156 is very skinny. So some physical development. I think some weight gain for him will definitely do him some good. Of course, the kid's 18 years old, so he's got time. And it looks like we're making progress on dealing Sam Reinhart. Although I'm not especially keen on losing Reinhart. But if we, again, it's all about the returns, and now we know that Reinhardt's return is not going to be a first round pick in this draft. So if it's it's either got to be players or then if you're talking about picks next draft, that unless you're whoever you're trading them to, you think is going to fall off the side there. You're not going to get a high draft pick out of it. And a lot of these draft picks now are pick protected, so that if the team just completely shits the bed, then you don't have and finishes dead last, then you're not going to lose a top draft pick because you made a trade the year before. So I'll be interested to see what Buffalo does with the Reinhardt deal. I'm hoping more for prospects already drafted and maybe a player or two to supplement. And of course, Eichel's got to be the big haul. And if he goes, if not, then I keep him get him back in the lineup at some point this year, prove that he's still got his game, and then at the trade deadline, if the Sabres are way out of it, deal him off. And if not, hey, this guy's under contract for four more years. He can ask for a trade all he wants to, but you don't have to trade him. That's what you get for signing a contract. So anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. Thanks everyone for joining us. Leaving a comment. Thanks to Tom for sitting in for the first half of this, or first couple hours of this exercise. And we probably won't do a show for the free agency day because it's just slow. But again, as the calendar flips into September, be on the lookout. We're going to start our shows again. This time, Travis and I will be talking on Thursday nights, and we'll be happy to see you guys then. But until then, thanks for joining us, and have a great